A few days ago, I had this really interesting idea of whether I can code a fully functioning web app without touching a single line of code and put myself out of a job. And the short answer is yes, you can. So this is the final app that the AI coded. As you can see, there's authentication where I can sign in with Google. I can create a booking. I can create equipment and locations. So I can create, so I've already created 2 locations and 2 equipment. If I create another equipment like a drill, it will add it to the list. And if I refresh, it will still be there. And I can create a booking, say for today, and it will be reflected on the timetable. It will even warn me if there's a clash that someone else has already booked that particular slot. And as you can see, the locations are in the columns and the times are on the rows. So a reasonably complicated app. So I'll be explaining how I managed to create this app and my journey along the way. So the first thing I did was I had to actually specify what the app is, right? And I wrote a small software requirement. So I came up with a sort of scenario, gave it some things to consider, being mobile friendly and keeping the code minimal and maintainable. Told it to use Firebase and SvelteKit as the stack, but you can use whatever stack you want. The AI is coding it anyway. And I have a lot of functional requirements just listed. So this is what I started with. And the first thing I tried was using the chat app that I built myself. So here, as you can see, I, put it in the chat app and got OpenAI OI Mini to direct the code. And it did an okay job, but there was still a lot of errors, and it's a lot of hassle to copy and paste the files. Chat app is best for if you're sort of having a natural conversation, right? Like you're ideating. If you want to code something from scratch, it's not that appropriate. And it's a lot of hassle to copy and paste everything. And it's not really not touching a single line of code, right? So the next thing I tried was the hottest IDE right now, Cursor. So as you can see, I open up the chat window in Cursor. I pasted the whole requirement in. And the generated response is very, very similar to what I had in the chat app. And but the biggest advantage is I can just keep pressing apply, and it will both create the file and then copy the content into the file for me. So very, very convenient. But so I was very happy at the start, but when I actually ran the app, it didn't actually work. So, I will keep prompting it to fix the bugs, but all in all, it just didn't work that well. And the bugs were complicated enough that if I had to fix them, I had to read so much code anyway. I might as well just code it from scratch myself. So not too great of an experience. So the next thing I tried was this VS Code extension called Cline. And I did the same thing. So here's a little chat window. I pasted in my requirement, and it's kind of similar to Cursor. So it gave me all of these commands, and I just click apply, and it created all the files. But for some reason, I think it's better prompt engineering. Just the first try of the app worked almost perfectly. And the even crazier part of this experience was I didn't really prompt it to improve the app, but on its own, it started scanning through all the files one by one and say, oh, I think I can improve this, and I think I can improve this. And it just went and, suggested a bunch of changes. All I did was I approved them, and it just applied all the changes to the files. Similarly, when I actually, ran the app, there were a few like minor bugs, but I would just tell it what the bugs were, and it pretty much always fixed them on the first try. So overall, this was a pretty crazy good experience, and I highly recommend you check out this extension. So, and this extension doesn't cost that much money. So compared to Cursor, the other advantage of this extension is Cursor, I ran out of the fast request pretty quickly, so I had to pay $20 or use the slow request. But on Cline, I can just put in my personal API key, like my Claude API key. So pretty much all of the testing was done on Claude 3.5. And as you can see, coding the whole app cost me maybe about $1. So yeah, that's been my experience. Also, one example of the app doing a modification I asked it to was, it used to have all of these dates on top of each other. So this is just one day, right? But if I scroll down, it will start at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock again for the next day. And obviously that's not very usable. So I just told it, hey, can you put the date at the top and only display one day at a time? And it was like, sure. And I didn't even tell it which file to go to. It just knew which file to go to. And it just coded it perfectly on the first try. So all in all, an app like this, not too complicated, but if I had to do it manually, it still would have taken me a solid probably 5 hours or 10 hours or something like that. And it coded it in 5 minutes and it costed me about $1 or $2. So I guess that's the state of AI right now. When you have AI agents that are able to sort of explore a code base and perform actions for you, the potential is massive there. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.